I accidentally caught my husband lustfully looking at photos of my friend's young daughter. Shame on you. Little Jenny is only 18.
It's none of your business. I look at whoever I want.
My heart was broken. I had never looked at another man in 25 years of marriage. Not even when we lived in an old trailer, or when we got rich and moved into our mansion. Frustrated, I went to my best friend Kira. I didn't plan on telling her what happened, but after a few bottles of wine, I let it slip. Today, I caught Paul looking at pictures of your Jenny in the bathroom. What? How dare he? Pervert! Kira was just as outraged as I was. In the next few months, I started to notice some strange things. First, Jenny, who made a living off tips as a waitress, all of a sudden had gotten breast implants. That costs a fortune. And isn't she too young? Her new boyfriend paid for them. He likes them big. Then, whenever my husband went on a business trip, Jenny would leave town as well. Hey, tell your daughter I can drop her off at work. You know, she's out of town. She went to her friend's wedding. But what surprised me the most was that my friend, who was into saving money, suddenly became interested in designer pieces. Where do you usually buy these bags from? Why, you're always complaining about not having money. I saved up a little, and for once, I want to buy something that you have been buying for the past 15 years. Although Kira's tone was quite aggressive, I gave her the contact of a trusted seller who brings in luxury items from Italy. The day before our 25th wedding anniversary, Paul returned from the business trip. He had been in the South and came back with a beautiful tan. Weirdly enough, Jenny also returned from her friend's wedding with a tan. This raised my suspicions. But before I could ask anything, my husband presented me with my anniversary gift: divorce papers.
Throughout the years, your body has sagged and wrinkles have covered your face. I don't want to be with you anymore. I found the one that makes me feel young again. From now on, Jenny will be sleeping in our bedroom.
Paul, what about me? Where will I sleep?
I'm giving you our old trailer. Get yourself some cats and spend the evenings with them.
And you? What are you going to do?
Unlike a woman's, a man's life begins after 50.
Unfortunately, Paul and his lawyers did everything possible to leave me with nothing but a trailer after the divorce. This delighted my friend Kira very much. As it turned out, she had been jealous of me her whole life. While Paul was overwhelmed by the beauty of his young wife, Kira was quick to spend his money on expensive clothes. Because of her lack of taste and style, she started copying me. Finally, after a few months, my friend and her daughter completely emptied Paul's bank accounts, and young Jenny filed for divorce. Goodbye. I don't need a poor old man. But Kira had no clue that Paul wasn't the only one being left with nothing. All the expensive items they bought were just cheap copies, as they were unable to distinguish them from the originals. They were sold to them by a seller whose contact I kindly shared with Kira. If only they knew that the seller was me. I suspected that something was wrong long before Paul decided to leave me. And realizing how mean Kira was, I decided to protect myself by getting back all the money that Paul had spent on his mistress. My ex-husband was right about one thing. I do spend my nights with my cats now. But only nights when I'm not busy dating interesting men. As it turns out, there is also a second youth for women. Remember, every woman goes through 3 stages: youth, second youth, and everlasting youth. I accidentally found out how many mistresses my husband had when he went on a business trip and forgot his phone at home. I thought it was all Photoshop, so I went after him to give him his phone and make everything clear. However, my dear Tom wasted no time. Scoundrel! I decided to find out who the bouquet was for, and I was shocked when he parked in front of my close friend Betty's house. We had been friends since we were in school, and I thought there were no secrets between us. But even before I had time to get over such betrayal, another one soon followed. My husband's phone rang in my hands.
Honey, will you be able to come today? I can't wait for your gorgeous gift till tomorrow. I'll finally have diamond rings.
I couldn't believe my ears. That voice sounded pretty familiar. It was my friend Paula, my son's godmother. And as it turned out, my husband's second mistress. I couldn't trust anyone anymore, except for my best friend Chris. Hello, Chris. Can the kids and I come over?
Of course, dear. Swing by.
I tried not to burst into tears in front of the children that morning, but once Chris and I were alone, I gave free rein to my emotions. Can you believe that Tom cheating on me? What? Do you know who she is? Not she. They. The first one is Betty. The second one is Paula. What? How dare he? What a bastard. Excuse me, I'm going to get some water. I'm so thirsty. As soon as Chris left, Tom's phone rang again. This time it was some mechanic who actually turned out to be a very angry Chris. How could you do that to me, you jerk? I thought I was the only one. Well, after your wife. And it turns out that you have 2 other mistresses. Tom forgot his phone at home. I felt like my life was ruined. However, my kids and dreams of their happy future gave me strength. I went back home, changed all the locks in the house, and came up with a cold-blooded revenge plan. I knew Tom worked for a very conservative company, so first I sent photos of him with his mistresses to all his superiors and colleagues. Then I sent the same photos to each of his mistresses, so that they would know how much of a successful cheater he was. As for the final touch, I found Tom's bank account passwords in his notes and transferred all the money to our children's accounts. When my husband came back for his phone, he couldn't get into the house. He wanted to call the police, but people from his work contacted him, and he was fired for immoral behavior that same day. Soon after, I filed for divorce. And as strange as it may sound, my husband helped me win the case against him, since he had cheated not only on me, but on all his mistresses. After learning the truth, all of them wanted revenge, and gladly agreed to testify against him in court. His immoral behavior shocked the whole courtroom. As a result, I got the kids and the house, as well as a large alimony, while Tom became lonely and unemployed at the same time. My friends invited me over to celebrate our victory after the trial, and I promptly refused. Thank you for your help, but we are not friends anymore. I'm going to build a new life now, one with no room for lying girlfriends. If someone betrays you once, it's their fault. If they betray you twice, it's your fault.